Noon. So today is December 11, it's at 4:05 p.m. Please call the roll.
Chairperson Wani Garza,
Here.
Vice Chair Ted Meziacos,
Present.
Alderman John Lash,
Here.
Alderman Emmanuel Yamas, Alderman Brandon Tolliver,
Here.
4 present.
Okay, approval of the minutes for item 2309A1.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Alderman Ted Mesiaco, second Alderman Lash. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed 4-0. We have somebody public comments?
No, we do
No?
not.
Okay. The first item in the agenda, 23-0898, a resolution authorizing a professional service agreement with Intergraph Corporation, Axogon of Madison, Alabama for computer-aided dispatch, CAD, resident administrator, RSA, and a contract amount not to exceed $204,587.00.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman Garza and members of the committee. Jeff Anderson, City's Deputy CIO. This is I believe the third time we've been up here to talk about getting this service. This is a resident system administrator, or RSA. There are on-site support, configuration, coding, all of that for the 911 computer-aided dispatch solution that we have from Hexagon. In years prior, we tried to, that's a very specific skill. There's only a few agencies in the state that use the Hexagon solution, even though it's a very largely used solution. Very hard for us to find folks to fill those spots. And what we found here is this has worked out quite well for us from a standpoint that this gets us someone who is a Hexagon employee who reports directly to the head of their program in Alabama that can get us quick fixes, which is what's really important for this whole program. If you've not seen the new 911 center over there, please take the time and go see it. You wouldn't believe the equipment that's in front of one of those operators to try and make it work, and this is a critical component of that. So,
Okay.
stop and
Questions, comments?
I
Jan?
guess, can you explain a little bit how it works with respect to integration with other software? And these people are like a middleman between us and Alabama?
No, so the gentleman we have now, TJ, is actually here on premise. He acts as our employee when he's here. He takes direction from our staff. He takes direction from Jackie, and runs the PSAP. But his primary manager, if you will, is back in Alabama, and that's who ultimately he reports to, which then gives us a nice in. If he doesn't know, he can go right to his boss, who opens it right up. We're not opening a ticket with Hexagon and waiting for their normal SLAs or service level agreements to kick in as to when we're going to get a response. We can get a response from TJ and his manager very quickly.
It almost sounds like it's a support for their software. When sort of on-site support.
Yeah, you can think of that, but it's beyond that from the standpoint that when you buy a software solution, they're going to give it to you and say, here it is, and this is how it works today, and we'll support you on that. Now, if you want to start to configure
selling it, and then you'll get it in your.
If you want to start configuring to this solution or that solution, or have this screens come up with these responses, or have this map react this certain way, those are things you need to do internally.
Okay.
And those specific skill sets we just have struggled to get and keep, so we've gone this route with the solution.
Long term, would it make sense to have somebody who's on site, one of our IT people that could do this? I asked this because I was going through one of these meetings, and it was about, I want to say, the one of our patch softwares, we were paying $70,000, and a young man attended the meeting.
Right.
And clearly he knows somebody in IT, and he basically said, we have people on staff that can probably do this. So he's a friend of a friend, but never heard from him since. I'm just, long term, I would think
Right.
instead of hiring a company, we would want to have somebody here who could do the job.
No, and that's a great question, right? And the long-term viability of this specific solution has been in question for a couple of years now, and I think we have made the decision to go to RFP when this contract expires, and so we're going to start doing that here early next year. So
this gets us to the end of the contract.
this gets us the contract we have will run through the end of 2025, but we have an out at every year for that. Okay. So this will get us another year, and hopefully we've got a decision made at that point with what our next CAD solution is and what our staffing solution is beyond that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So the amount we have is to cover only until 25?
Through the end of 2024. So this is 1 year's salary. And so you can think of it as we're paying for this entire fully baked in cost of this employee, right? His insurance and all the other things that Hexagon's paying for.
Ted?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. It seems like we have no choice. I mean, we have to keep moving with this. We don't have much of an option, and this is our best option from what you're telling us. And I don't think it's a big challenge going with our best option. My questions, I would say, revolve around this contract and what it all encompasses. Right off the bat, I think if you look at the bottom of the first page of the contract, I think Article 2.1 or 2.2 on the start of the second page,
Okay.
it starts talking about time and material, assignments,
Yeah.
reading through, just, I'm not going to tell you I read all 40 pages here. I know we have staff, we have a legal counsel here, but in general, just for the numbers, understanding what the true cost of this contract's going to be. You mentioned, and I'm just going off of a little bit of what you said, having somebody on site who has somebody in Alabama and get things
Right.
done. And what does that mean to get things done? Because reading the contract, there's several steps, and only a portion of them initiate once it's signed, the contract. And I'm not really sure what the remainder of the steps would mean based on this contract in terms of cost. So trying to get a good grasp of what potentially this contract could cost for us, and would those, and if there is additional items, are they going to come through committee, or are we just given a blanket approval to your department to just sign off on them?
No, great questions, and thank you for those. So what you've got in front of you I'm sorry, I don't have the contract in front of me, and I don't have the section memorized either, but you've got 27 of the primary responsibilities for this person, right, that include the care and maintenance of the CAD solution itself. And what you've seen us come to council with, in addition to that, would be the integration we just had here a little bit ago with to ShotSpotter. We had another integration a little bit ago we talked about when Fusus came here. We had integrations with that. Those are separate purchases, bolt-ons, if you will. Think of it as we have a house and now we want to put another room, another room, another room. Those are the kind of the time and materials and estimates we get on top of this, and we bring those back here.
Okay, so if you needed to purchase another program, for example,
Correct.
subscription prices under 25,000, under 50,000, I mean, would you still bring it through here? I mean, because you can just purchase that moving forward. And I'm not looking to just say
Right.
that that's a problem. What I'm trying
Right.
to get at is clarity of the potential cost of this contract
In-
in total.
So for this contract, for this person we're talking about, this is the cost, and it's been that way for the last 2 years, right? Generally, in this space, it's very rare to see something cost 25,000 or even less than 50,000 and not have to come here. And I'll say, at least since I've been here in this space, we're going after multiple year things, so we don't have to come here annually. So if we were, like, the ShotSpotter is a good example. The integration there, I think 1 year between the two products ended up being about $30,000, something to that effect. We can go back and look at the resolution if we need to. But we came here with a 5-year agreement. If we're going to do this, let's do this, right? And we've got out clauses and those kinds of things in there, right? So now here's the cost. Now the cost on that one was somewhere above 60. I can't remember exactly what that was, so we brought it here, right? So the intent is not to stay under that number, and go year by year by year. The intent is to say, here's what we're trying to do.
But I'll tell you,
Okay.
this is what triggered that thought.
Sure.
And on the first page, order of composition, 2.1.1, it says each order will be comprised of order documents. What would be an order document? Because right there, that makes me think
Patrick,
there's
do you have that
additional things that are going to be purchased along with this. And so I'm trying to
Right.
gauge, not that it's an issue, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm figuring you're going to have something, additional software, maybe
Okay.
hardware that you're going to require to get things taken care of. things change, they find components that are outdated, and they're gonna make recommendations, and I wouldn't blame you to wanna move forward and try to improve them, especially for public safety. Just trying to gauge
Yeah.
what is gonna be potentially under this contract.
So I believe what you're referring to is Section 2.1 of the Master Services Agreement,
Right.
right? So that MSA defines how the two agencies are going to do business with each other, how the city's going to work with Hexagon, right? Underneath that is a specific statement of work for and that's the other contract that's attached here that explains exactly what this employee will do, right? So if we're bringing other things up that Section 2.1 of the Master Services Agreement would apply to, that's not part of this SOW, and that's not part of what I'm presenting here today,
Okay,
right? Does that make sense? And so we would bring those back here,
okay.
okay?
But is it a fair question? I mean, maybe not, I don't know, but is it a fair question to throw a number at it, of what additional things that might come out that he or she may need to fulfill their obligations and make sure that our system is running properly?
Well, it is, and again, I want to try and delineate that, this is paying for this person to be on site and perform the tasks that are listed in the SOW portion of that.
I guess this
Yeah.
is my question would be then, separate from this.
Sure.
Are there any items that you foresee that are required to fill in the gaps to make make sure that this person succeeds based on our platform or software or hardware with our existing system? Or is it just a continuation?
It is a continuation, and it's a
Okay.
continuation of what they've done successfully
All right,
the last
okay.
couple of years,
All
right?
right.
Right, they're not going to need anything else. If we as a city decide we want to buy these extra things and make it part of a larger 911 implementation, then we would bring those back here. Again, whether that's Fusus and its integration to Hexagon, whether that's the ShotSpotter I talked about, or anything else we brought up here in the last several years to integrate with Hexagon, that's what the Master Service Agreement is actually addressing, is those other things. And they provide us quotes, just like they provided us this one, for this gentleman to be here.
All right,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Sure.
Questions, comments?
Motion to approve?
Okay.
Second.
Motion approved by Alderman Ted Masiacos, second Alderman John Lash. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
Thank you.
Okay,
You got 10 seconds.
okay, no,
Answer your question a different way, which is, what was the budget last year for,
okay.
or add-on?
So no other item to discuss.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned by Ted Masiacos.
Second.
Second, John Lash. All in favor say aye. Okay.
Aye.
Motion adjourned at 4:15. Thank you very much.